Hey guys, what's up? Let's talk about this, the FX6. It's 2026 and the FX6 is over 5 years old at this point, yet there's no replacement in sight. We're even getting new firmware next month for the big 6 menus. So should you buy this in 2026? If you're looking for a recommendation and you want to skip the rest of this video, the answer is yes, absolutely buy one. Find one used, save some money on it. But the FX6 is still an absolute workhorse of a camera, and it absolutely can cover all of your needs as a filmmaker, a videographer, whether that's high-end commercial kind of look, or even using S-Cinetone to shoot quick content that's already graded, ready to just ship out. But these are a lot of money still, even on the used market. So let's go through the pros and cons of buying an FX6 this year in 2026. The first pro is it still looks incredible. When Sony started releasing the FX line, I don't know, the color science, whatever it is that they did, totally changed the game. And the FX6 still 5 years later looks incredible. Using Cine EI or even using S-Cinetone, it looks really great. So that's pro number one, is even though it's 5 years old, the color and the look of the camera is still great. The second pro is Sony continues to update features on it. I get that it's been kind of slow for Sony to roll out some of these things, but they continue to support the camera and continue to give it new features. They've added Cine EI Quick, flexible ISO, and now the big 6 menu that's coming, and not to mention the monitor and control app is fantastic. Even though it's a little difficult to get the FX6 set up in it, you have to kind of watch a step-by-step video. A lot of times we've replaced bringing a bigger monitor setup on set with just using the monitor and control app on an iPad. Pro number 3 is it's become such a standard in the video and filmmaking world, the documentary world, to have an FX6 that to where if somebody's hiring you to bring you on set and you already have one, it's a huge plus because so many people are already using them. And pro number 4 is it's versatile and it's rock solid. But you can use this camera in so many different ways. You could use it on a conference setting or a podcast where you plug it into power and have it, running for a long stretch of time. You can shoot Cine EI and put PL glass on there and make it look really, really great. Like, this camera punches way above its weight class in terms of what it costs and how good you can make it look. And when I talk about it being rock solid, like, knock on wood, but we've had zero issues with ours. We've had zero issues with any of our Sony stuff, honestly. And Sony's been doing this for so long, I just feel like the hardware is rock solid and we've never had any issues. One other pro too, depending on what camera system you're coming from and considering coming to the FX6, but having internal NDs, game changer. It just is. I know the FX3 is great, but if you have one and you're thinking about getting an FX6, do it. Having internal NDs is so nice. It's just a convenience thing. Like, honestly, the older that I get and the more time that I've spent on set, like, things that make my life easier are just worth so much more. And on that same vein, the body style of the FX6 makes it really easy to get like the Tilta system where you can easily just slide it in for this V-mount battery plate. Because the camera's been out so long, there's so many third-party accessories that just make your life easier with it. Now, I know there's a lot of great third-party accessories as well for the FX3 and the FX30, the Cine back or other things that are out there, but there is really nothing like having this form factor where you can quickly and easily get a V-mount on there, as well as having the internal NDs. Now, of course, we have to talk about things that I don't love about the camera, and there are definitely a few. And number one, if you've used any Sony camera, are the menus. The menus feel like they were designed by an engineer, not by somebody who was focusing on user experience, right? Like, if you just jump right into a Sony camera, especially the FX6, and get into the menus, like, you will have no idea where anything is. Even finding where to format the card is kind of like random. So I don't love Sony menus. The big 6 menu that's coming is gonna help a lot. But when you get in deeper to the menus and you have to start changing things around, the menus are still not great. You end up spending a lot of time Googling or YouTubing about certain specific things, which is fine. Like, you eventually learn it and you kind of get to know that ecosystem. But if you're coming from a different system, potentially, like if you have a Blackmagic and their menus are fantastic, right? Or RED menus are easy. If you're coming over to this system, just know the menus. You're gonna have to spend some time on a learning curve with the menus. Number 2 is audio. Now, audio is great on this because there's XLRs in the camera on the handle, but when you take the handle off, there's no audio in on the body itself. which can be kind of annoying if you want to put the body on a gimbal and run, you know, a lav or something like that. Like it has a scratch mic for just recording, you know, like scratch audio, but there's no way to get a mic into the camera without the top handle being on, which is annoying. And people have said this for years. We've worked around it, or we just use a different camera, you know, a smaller camera on a gimbal. But if you're trying to shoot the whole project on the FX6 and you want to put it on a gimbal, that can be kind of annoying if you're trying to run wireless audio. Number 3 is codec. I know a lot of cameras use the MXF codec, but I don't love it. I know a lot of the Canons use that as well, but it doesn't play natively on the Mac. That's just kind of annoying. And so I wish there was a way, I know there's no way we could get ProRes or anything like that, but I wish there was a different format that was more native to the Mac ecosystem that came straight out of the camera. The last one is no false color. There's no false color that you can put on the monitor from the camera. You have to have an external monitor that has its own false color system. I wish there was false color in the camera. That would be nice. One other gripe I have too is Cine EI as a shooting format also feels like it was designed by an engineer and not by somebody who was focusing on user experience but before we had flexible ISO or Cine EI Quick, you were locked in at shooting 800 or 12,800 on the camera and in terms of ISO. And that was very confusing to a lot of people at first when we first got these cameras. It was like, wait, you can change the ISO, but it doesn't actually change it in the file. Very confusing. But now it's a lot better, especially if you just shoot flexible ISO. I still try to keep the camera at its base at either 800 or 12,800, but if you need to change it a little bit, at least now they've supported it and you can change the ISO and still shoot log. Now let's talk about competition, because you've got the Pixis 12K, you've got the C80, the C400, you've got the Komodo X, you've got some other things that are kind of in this price bracket. But here's what I think Sony has a crazy advantage on is so many people in the last few years have bought Sony cameras, whether that be an FX3, the FX30, or even into, you know, some of the other Sony cameras, the A6, whatever we're on now, EV110, whatever the Sony cameras are, in that line as well. So many people have Sony lenses. Even though I think the C80 is awesome, the C400 is awesome, that are kind of direct competitors to this in terms of having internal NDs, better audio solutions, that kind of thing. If you already have Sony glass, Canon, I feel like was just late to the game in terms of finally getting some more cameras out that can compete with the FX6, and most people already have Sony glass. So moving to an FX6 is a natural progression from wherever you are if you have an FX3, an FX30, whatever. When you compare it to the Pixis 12K, I think we're starting to get into apples to oranges a little bit there. 12K doesn't have internal NDs. It's a little more built to build it out. The FX6 is very run and gun. You could of course build it more, but it kind of naturally is run and gun. The Pixis 12K doesn't have the same audio solutions that the FX6 does. Also, OpenGate. Man, if we could have an FX6 with OpenGate, that'd be amazing. But it also wouldn't be $6,000. It would be a Venice that was $60,000. But the Pixis 12K is awesome. It really just comes down to your needs. What kind of work are you doing? And like I said earlier, like what is gonna make your life easier to make you more efficient to where you can focus on being creative and not fighting with a camera to, oh wait, do we have to go grab ND filters? So if you do a lot of different types of projects like we do at my company, anything from, you know, we'll shoot a commercial and put PL glass on this, or we'll go to a conference and have 4 of these, you know, shooting keynotes. It's so versatile in that way that I think it really is a great move for somebody who's been going at this for a while, can afford to grab one in cash, don't put this on a credit card, and that's gonna help you take your next step forward and can stay in that Sony ecosystem. If you're trying to do narrative things or only focusing more on commercial things, I think there's better options. Like I said, the Pixis 12K is amazing. You know, the price slashes on the REDs are amazing now. I mean, you can even get into some Arri stuff used. But when it comes to having a camera that is versatile and can do everything really well, man, I just don't think you can go wrong with an FX6, even in 2026 when it's 5 years old. Sony's been so slow to release new hardware because I think they know like these things are still selling, like they're still fantastic. And so if you're on the fence about getting one, I would say, yeah, just do it. Especially if you're already in the Sony ecosystem and you can make this jump, I'd say go for it. If you found this helpful, please subscribe. I've got a bunch of other content already on my channel and on the way that is all about helping you grow your video production business. I've been on my own for over 6 years and I hope I can help you on your journey as well.